Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Death card. Now, don't freak out. The Death card is probably the card in the tarot that gets the worst rap. You know, everybody thinks, the Death card, it's a stereotype. Very rarely does it actually pertain to actual physical, death, okay? It's a card of transformation. It really should be called the transformation card, the rebirth card. It could be called change, right? Because that's what it is. This is the fundamental force of the universe. The flux of everything, right? I think you're somebody who is very much aware of how life is always evolving, always changing, even just in the moment to moment, just in the course of this reading, right? Notice now, if you're going to watch the whole thing, I don't know if it's going to be half hour, whatever. If you're going to watch the whole thing, kind of take note of how you change throughout the reading, okay? Not only what's going on around you, your environment is sort of changing, right? But how your thoughts and feelings are going one to the other, to the other, to the other. How the different thoughts that you have in your head are whirling around. And is there a path? Is there sort of like a progress, right? Do we have this going in a kind of particular direction? Are we being led somewhere, right? Are we being led somewhere? I feel like you're going through a major period of transformation in your life. I feel that it's not like a tower moment. It's not just this sudden bang, things are different. It's kind of been this slow and gradual sort of thing. I think you've had your tower moments in the past, but I think that right now is just kind of a slow evolution, a slow growth that's going on. And when we're immersed in the moment, we don't think anything's changing. I do these readings and I think my studio's still the same. I'm still the same. I'm wearing the same clothes, right? My hair might be a little disheveled by the end of it, but we don't really notice the changes. We don't notice the flux of energy when we're in the moment. It's only when we look back afterwards that we say, oh yeah, I was way different at the beginning of this reading, and I'll be different at the end of the next one that I do too. And the point is that the Death card is a slow and gradual change, whereas the Tower represents these big moments of novelty, these big sort of waves of novelty, or these punctuations of life, right? And this is that slow, gradual evolution and change of something. And then we get the Tower moments, which are these bursts, right? And so this is the kind of change that you're not going to recognize. You go to the gym, and every night you get home, you look in the mirror, and you think, I look the same. My muscles aren't getting any bigger, right? But you take a picture, 6 months apart or 3 months or whatever, and you'll see, wow, yeah, big changes, right? But they're more, it's subtle. And we don't really recognize them in the moment. Let's see what we're doing with some of this change or rebirth or evolution or transformation energy right now in your life. We've got the Queen of Wands. We've got the Hierophant. We've got the Star, Six of Pentacles. There's the Tower. There's the Tower that we've been talking about. Very nice. Ten of Wands. Three of Cups. Very good. The World or Universe, and the Eight. The Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands, Spirit saying you got options, okay? Spirit saying that you've got options here. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and we're going to set it down right here. Alien Simon Morg Ripley right there on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for that card, put it down in the comments. All right, let's do it together. Let's make it a group exercise of intuition. I think it'll be fun. All right, so we've got a lot of major arcana here, obviously. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So half the reading is majors, and then we've got fire, we've got a little bit of water, and we've got our earth. I feel like there's no air energy, which I think is, in some ways, the absence of the air energy is good, because I think you're not overthinking it. You're not letting your mind sort of, whisk you away to all these different corridors. It kind of is that this idea that, yeah, maybe we are staying like right in the moment. We're staying right in the moment. You're doing your work, and maybe right now you can't really see the success. See, we've got the material success up here with the 6 of Pentacles, and that's what we want to see, but maybe we don't see that because it's slow, steady progress. What we're really waiting for is the big leveling up, the big tower. And I gotta say, it's kind of strange that every reading has had the tower in it for like the last week or two, and across different channels too. Everyone's getting the tower these days. And so this is really the time for consistency and knowing that this big leveling up is going to happen, right? This big moment of change, a gradual, steady flow, and then the punctuation. That punctuation's coming in your future very soon, I think. And I think really it's bringing you everything that you want. It's bringing you wisdom. It's bringing you material success. It's bringing you love and family and togetherness. It's bringing you help too, right? With the 10 of Wands here. But who is this person? Might be a Sagittarius person. We have a couple of the Sagittarius cards here. We have Mercury in Sagittarius over here. And of course, this represents this is one of the Sagittarius power cards. It is the mutable fire, right? And I feel like this is somebody that is kind of trying to contain their frustration, Maybe this is you, maybe this is someone close to you, could be an older female energy. I feel like someone's getting really frustrated, and they're just kind of clenching their fists and grinding their teeth, trying not to really express that. Okay. And I wonder if this is you, because if we're in this sort of slow, gradual change, it's kind of like, I can understand we're getting a little frustrated here because we're ready for something to go. We're ready for something to change. Like, come on, where is it? And we're getting frustrated with the slow sort of non-progress of something, right? Of course, we get that tower, everything is released, we get the level up, we get the breakthrough we're looking for, and I think the tension in this Queen of Wands is released. Okay, so I think this is talking about your energy, but it might also be a fire sign person or a Sagittarius person in your life somewhere, okay, that maybe is a factor in some of this, maybe in this idea of the help or of the family situation. Okay, what I see here with the family situation, with the Hierophant and the 3 of Cups, I almost wonder if somebody in your family is kind of like, they're acting kind of like a know-it-all in a way. Like, I feel like they went and did something, they had an experience, maybe they went to college, they came back, or whatever it is, they left home, they came back home, and now they're kind of just trying to like tell everybody what to do. They're sort of acting like the expert, right? And maybe that's kind of making you a little frustrated, because it's just like, hey, I know that you went to university or whatever, but it doesn't mean you know everything now. So I feel like it's somebody in your life that's kind of telling people like how they should be living, if that makes sense. But we might have that sort of relationship going on here. But the Hierophant, I think, is a very good card for you, because it is underneath the surface. So it kind of represents this unconscious energy that's starting to rise to the top. And I feel like it's your confidence in your own wisdom and knowledge and ability. I feel like you're kind of allowing yourself to recognize that you are kind of an expert in something. Now, there are no swords cards here. So you're not the one that's going and telling everybody else how to live. If you feel like a master, feel like an expert, it's something that's for you. All right? The idea here is don't go giving advice when people don't ask for it. Right? You're not the one going around telling people how to live. Okay? But you're the one that I think has the really the kind of true wisdom. And maybe this is kind of meaning that you're an educated person. Maybe you went to university too. Maybe a trade school, an art school, whatever it is. Could be the school of life, right? It could be this idea that you are learning so much more from your connection with Spirit, right? Who is the kind of the ultimate teacher in our lives, but our true self, our relationship with Spirit, God, Goddess, Deity, ancestors, guardian angels, spirit guides, whatever you want to call it. You know, you're beginning to recognize your inner teacher, okay? And that's inside down here with this Hierophant, okay? And I think that it's important because it's allowing you to sort of trust in yourself a little bit more. It's kind of allowing you to not have to look outside for validation, okay? I feel like this is sort of an internal validation that's coming from yourself, you know? Even though we may still be kind of looking for it from other people, we see a couple of these energies outside of you, the Six of Pentacles, the Three of Cups. We might be looking for some sort of confirmation or validation from the world that, you know, we've done a good job and we've succeeded and here we are, right? We all need that. We need the universe to kind of, you know, to materialize in a way that confirms our efforts, you know, or validates our efforts. But I feel the real confidence is coming from within you. I feel like you're learning how to learn on your own. And so with the Hierophant, I feel like lately you've been learning more. Not in a Princess of Swords kind of way, but in kind of a deep, almost abstract, almost philosophical kind of way. I feel that you've been studying a lot of texts, you know, like a lot of manuscripts. You've been reading like really thick novels, like you read War and Peace or something, you know. I started reading It lately, Stephen King. I don't know if anyone's a fan of Stephen King still, but I've never read any of his work before in my entire life, and I started reading It. Let me know what you think of that book or that author or that genre or anything, but so far so good, I guess. Anyway, I feel like you've been studying religious texts, spiritual texts, holy books, right? I feel that you are... You've sort of found your inner guide, yeah. And I think it's kind of it's an interesting kind of thing with you because it's kind of like it's somebody outside of you, but it's coming from within you. So it's kind of it's part of yourself, but it's also not part of yourself, right? It's kind of strange, and it has to do with the Star versus the Hierophant here together. So I think that really this is a wonderful time in your life. Because I think you're experiencing so many of these improvements. I feel like you're getting everything you've wanted here. You're getting the guidance, you're getting that internal sort of wisdom and validation, but also in the behind you, I feel like you're getting a push from Spirit. Yeah. The Star card is a twofold process. One is the inner illumination, the gnosis, right? That you've got to allow yourself to be filled with the light of deity. And it shows you where your weak spots are, shows you where your knots are, your karmic knots, your little tangles, shows you where your blockages are, right? And I think that you've done that work. I think that you have made a considerable effort in knowing yourself and figuring out where your blockages are. Now, when we look at these cards this way, this is a trio of major arcana energies. It says that, yes, you've begun the work of introspection, finding your blockages, allowing yourself to be filled with the divine light. It's been a slow process, and maybe it feels in the moment that we haven't really made any headway anywhere, that it hasn't really done anything, right? Nothing seems different. Well, with the Tower, I feel like you're getting that breakthrough. And it's because you've managed to go through this period of, yes, it's frustrating because it's kind of slow and it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything, right? And it's kind of the same way that we might look at any kind of physical therapy or even psychological therapy, right? Where we're just doing it every day and it's like, what's the point? I don't feel any different. There's been no changes. There have been changes. We just can't perceive them, like that Death card. But those Tower moments, those big breakthroughs are there, and they will happen, and they sort of punctuate things, and they sort of are the milestones that mark in your consciousness, okay, that's like a definite stage, a transition from phase 1 to phase 2 or whatever, you know, from level 1 to level 2. And this breakthrough is coming for you. Whether this is a spiritual breakthrough, a breakthrough in your career, I think it's all of these things. A breakthrough in your relationships, yes, that too. Okay, the Tower, the life change is happening now. And I think when you level up your life in this way, especially with the major arcana that we see, and this one, it doesn't mean that you're just leveling up in your career, or you're just leveling up in your relationship, or just in your spiritual work. No, you're wrapped up in one container. You got to take all of it with you. You know, you can't level up your relationship, but your career is still down there. You're leveling up as a being. And it's going to have an influence on relationships and career relationships. And it's all relationships anyway. But my point is that this leveling up is an essential, fundamental one that is having an effect on the rest of your life areas. All right. The second phase of the star card, of course, is when we're filled with that light and we've done some of that work, we start to see some of that light spilling out into the world. And that it illuminates our path, like the little solar stakes on the sidewalk, that kind of show you where the sidewalk curves. I don't know why they make sidewalks like this, because I don't know. But it's kind of showing you the path. It's illuminating the path for you. It's kind of like they turned on the runway lights, and now you can see, okay, there, thank goodness I know where to go. And I feel like that's kind of what we get when we get those breakthroughs. When we get these tower moments, it's kind of like we break through our shell a little bit. We molt, we shed some skin, and that lets a little bit more light out. You see in a tower like this, there's little cracks and little holes in the walls and the bricks and the mortar and stuff, and it lets a little bit of that fire out. That's a little bit of that light out. And really, I think that's kind of spilling out here into the Eight of Wands as well, which is showing you all of your options. All right. Well, let's talk about the Six of Pentacles. I feel that there's a financial situation that is going to really start booming. Like, not just getting better, start booming, right? This is the card of cooperation, though, too. It's the card that kind of says everybody's got to bring something to the table. It's the potluck, right? It's the family get-together where everybody brings a dish. Because especially with that 10 of Wands that we see down here, you can't be expected to bring all of the food, right? You can't be expected to do everything. Prepare, set the table, cook all the food, feed everybody, clean up, and then where were you in all of that, right? Where was that's why it's a potluck and not just, you're hosting a dinner party and everyone just gets to hang out. It's a cooperative effort, right? And so this is kind of your financial life, maybe business, maybe you're retired, but this is a financial thing, right? Kind of how you make your money and what you do with your money and how you continue to earn money, what kind of money you have coming in, how you're spending it, saving it, how you're investing it, all of that stuff. And this might really be talking about that diversity in a similar way of the Eight of Wands, but the Eight of Wands is kind of saying, let's try a bunch of different things and see what sticks. The Six of Pentacles, on the other hand, we already know what sticks. So we know where to put all the different investments. We know how to bring everything together to kind of to diversify our lives, or whatever exactly this is for you. But if it's the investments, it's kind of like what the sound investments are. You know where to put your money and what to spend it on, and it's working. It's a good system. But Spirit is saying that there's a boom. Right, there's some kind of a boom going on in your financial life. So maybe it is stock market stuff. Maybe it is an investment or a business that you're doing. Maybe it's a promotion or a leveling up in that sort of sense at work. But a lot more money coming in. Right, finances are going to be booming. Is kind of the word that I keep hearing, or the sound. I don't know if it's. I guess I'm just kind of hearing the boom. And of course, we know the Tower event. That's the kind of that's the punctuation of life, and that is really a big, it's a big moment, and towers are sort of disruptive. It's a breakthrough, and a breakthrough is, you're breaking through something. It's not going to feel like you're swimming through a nice, cool pool, in your backyard. It's a breakthrough. It's kind of like it takes effort, it takes force. You might get some scrapes, cuts, and bruises. But the thing about the Tower is that we never know exactly when it's coming. And I've been saying this in a lot of readings lately. It's like you're a runner and you're on the starting line and you're ready, you're set, and then we're waiting for the whistle or whatever it is, right? We don't know exactly when we're going to hear it, but we know it's coming, but we just don't know exactly when. And so in some ways, this is your frustration because you know it's here, and you're just kind of you're clenching your fists and knowing that it's going to be any minute now. But we don't want to lose focus, because then once we start kind of daydreaming, then it's going to happen and we're going to be kind of caught off guard, right? So it's a good thing there are no swords cards here. However, I wish there were a few more swords cards here. But we're going to talk about that on the Path of the Serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, helps out the channel, and please help out all of your favorite tarot channels. I know I'm your number one favorite, but all of the tarot readers on YouTube that you love and support, watch their videos, like the videos, leave a comment to say hi, watch the videos all the way through, watch your other placements, share it with your friends. Again, not just my channel, but all of your favorite tarot readers, right? The tarot community relies on viewers like you, right? And, I'm sure we all appreciate it. I know I do. So anyway, enough about that. Path of the Serpent, we've got that 10 of Wands. I feel like you're used to doing everything yourself. I feel like there is this big breakthrough, as we're talking about, kind of you're getting everything that you've wanted, and kind of, I think, like everything that you need to, right? And I think right now is you need someone to sort of share some of the burden with you. You need, whether this is friend, family members, whether this is a romantic partner or a spouse, you need somebody to sort of like start carrying a little bit of the weight, right? Share the load. Like if they would just pull a little bit of the weight, it would take it. They don't have to do much, but just at least a little bit. I mean, come on, you know? So I feel like this is your ability to recognize that there are people around you that can help out, that can assist with certain things. I don't know what exactly, but can take a little bit of the responsibility off of you. Because whether this is at work or at home or at school, it feels like all of the responsibility is on your shoulders, and that doesn't seem right. Okay? And we don't want that to sort of be the case. There is a very strong Sagittarius energy in your reading right now, and I don't know what that is about. I don't know why that's here. There needs to be more communication, I think, with the Sagittarius person. We've got Sag here, Sagittarius is here, Sagittarius is here. So they're kind of creeping up in your reading a little bit. And so to me, it kind of feels like there's this neon sign flashing in my peripheral vision that's just saying Sagittarius, Sagittarius. And so I need to mention it. All right. The 10 of Wands, of course, is you. It's interesting with the 10 of Wands because it is a card that shows a partnership, right? It shows two wands against the world, right? And it's us against the world. We got to be careful this is not codependence. We want interdependence. We want to realize that I don't need, I don't need anyone to do anything in order for me to exist. But I do need someone to kind of share, to pull their fair share of the weight, you know. So there needs to be this partnership. There needs to be this flow of energy, not a reliance so much on other people, but a trust that other people are going to do what they need to do. Kind of an expectation that if we're in this group together, you're bringing something to the table. And that's what I was saying with the 6 of Pentacles, that everybody's got to bring something to the table, okay? Also, there is a J name person in your life. I don't know who the J is. Maybe they're the Sag. I don't know. But a J, right? Yeah, anyway, with the 6 of Pentacles, it's important that everybody knows their responsibilities and knows their, and it's important that you do as well, too. It's important that you know what is expected of you in your life, in, you know, home life and work life. And for you to contribute, you know, what your thing is, but you shouldn't be expected to then also turn in the work of these other people that didn't do their homework, you know what I mean? Or that they didn't have anything prepared. They didn't make anything for the potluck. So you ended up making 3 dishes, you know, to cover for them. That needs to be figured out. That's why we need a little bit of the air energy, because I feel like that's something that's going to be resolving for you if you open up and kind of, and start talking about it a little bit. Okay. The next card is very nice. It's the Three of Cups, and it is sort of a family card. And it does have that connection, like I said at the beginning, with the Hierophant kind of person that might be, I don't know, maybe they're an older sibling or something like that. But the Three of Cups is, I think, a vast improvement in your emotional well-being. I feel like this is a lot of just kind of hanging out and just allowing yourself to enjoy the presence of other people. Enjoy your backyard, enjoy your sofa. Enjoy the beautiful food that you cook. Enjoy the people around you, your friends, your family, your pets, your plants, your people, right? Kind of allowing your mind to calm down from the worry and really to enjoy. You have all these moments in your life that really have the potential to be positive, emotionally healing experiences, even if it's just kind of sitting around and having breakfast with your kids or whatever it is, or with your cat. In those moments should be healing, loving, connected experiences, and they have the potential to be, as long as we are not sort of stressed out about other things or overburdened with other things or overthinking other things. Thankfully, we don't have too much of the air energy here. And really, it's interesting that we don't have any at all. I got my thoughts about the mystery card, of course. But I think that the Three of Cups is really saying that, you're going to get everything that you want in terms of your interpersonal relationships. This is the card of the environment. Every interaction you have with your environment, whether it's people, places, things, pets, or plants, every interaction you have with your environment is the potential to be a joyous, loving, connected kind of experience, beneficial and healing in some way, right? You're going to start taking advantage of that. Every moment has the potential to strengthen your bond with yourself, with the world around you, with your people. Okay. So I feel like this is maybe family members getting closer together. This is kind of even forming some kind of personal bonds with the people at work or the people at school or at church or at the community center, the library, or whatever. It's really taking every moment and maximizing the potential, optimizing this situation. You're buying coffee. It's just kind of like, this could either be a rather dull and, uneventful exchange of money for coffee, or it could be a chance to like really look at somebody in the eye and say hi and say, how you doing? And really from the heart say, thank you, I appreciate you, something along those lines anyway. It doesn't have to be coffee. My Lord knows I need to drink a little bit less coffee. The universe card in the position of the difficulty here. Okay. The difficulty here. I think that in the past you've had a life that maybe felt like it didn't have much of a direction. Yeah. And this, I think, is it's kind of it's interesting because the universe card is about the lifting of boundaries. This is a card that sometimes shows that whatever's been restricting you is gone. The fence around the yard is gone, and it's wide open land as far as the eye can see. Sometimes that scares us, Sometimes we don't want that. Sometimes I want the borders. I want the fences. I want to know kind of where I'm supposed to be, And so this is like a lot of responsibility. This is kind of saying you want freedom. You want this open access to the world and to the universe and to all of your possibilities and all of your expressions of self and all of these pursuits and goals and aspirations. Be careful what you wish for, right? Because sometimes this can be an overwhelming vastness. It's kind of to me, it feels like an agoraphobia, right? It's the fear of wide open spaces where we want a fence. I want a door and some walls and stuff to kind of say, this is where I'm going to operate, But I think you're sort of transcending the limitations, the boundaries, the restrictions on yourself. And so it's kind of like we want to have the borders and the boundaries because that gives us a sense of having a direction. Can you imagine if everybody was driving in their cars and they had to get from their house to work or to their friend's house or whatever, but there were no lanes, there were no roads. There were no streetlights. There were no turn signals. There were no little lines and dots and things and arrows on the ground. It seems very complicated the way we've got our road system, at least in the U.S. here. I don't know what it's like where you live. But there's a lot of signs everywhere, right? There's a lot of paint on the ground and just everywhere, and it seems kind of crazy and overwhelming and confusing at times. But could you imagine what it would be like if all of that were gone? Then we would know my friend lives that way, but we wouldn't really know quite how to get there. I mean, we would. I got to go straight. If I hit a rock or a river, I guess I got to go around, but it's over there. So we kind of need a little bit of the structure. We need the manifestation of the limitations, right? Because I mean, that's what the roads and things are. That's why we have a lane. It says you're allowed to drive in this lane here and just follow the path and you'll be all right. Maybe you have to change lanes or you got to turn, you got to get off the freeway. That comes with its own set of limitations, right? Everything is a restriction of energy. We need the discipline of it, right? And this card is Saturn and Earth. Yeah. And so it's the idea that we need a little bit of direction. We need a little bit of restriction. We need to have something sort of telling us what to do in a certain way, even though we don't want that. We want freedom. We want a lifting of boundaries and of restrictions, but we really need them in some degree. Okay. And I think that this is sort of showing our dealing with that sort of weird paradoxical issue within ourselves, right? But I also feel that this card is about you narrowing down your life in a sense of having a more restrained or restricted kind of the Saturn discipline direction in your life. Yeah. Even though we still have that Eight of Wands at the end, which is all the options, all the possibilities that you have. But if we look at this card, it seems like it's just a random dispersal of energy, but it's in the form of the compass rose. Right? So it's saying that you can literally go anywhere, but you're going to have to sort of, you're going to have to accept the boundaries or the road signs or the restrictions of that particular path that you choose. Does that make sense? I know it's a little, it sounds better when I talk about the driving aspect of it, because that, to me, that makes sense, right? And yes, we could go off-road, we can go where there are no lanes and there are no like road signs and stuff, sure, yes, of course. But I think it's allowing us to see that in this intense sort of ultimate freedom of life, we still need the discipline, we still need the structure. If we're free to do our will, that's a very intense obligation, because then it's like we're doing that will and nothing else, right? So it's kind of, it's either, however you look at it, we're like carving out our own road somewhere, you know, and either we're setting it up ourselves, that we're kind of mapping out our lives in a particular way, or we're saying, this is the path that I'm taking. I have to kind of, I have to sort of follow the designated path. You know, I mean, we could go off-road, sure, but then I think we're making a lot more hard work for ourselves, you know. But I think that this card is really about you understanding all of the different options that you have in your life, and really the commitment and the discipline that it's going to take to fulfill any one of them, right? All that other nonsense about the driving thing aside, you have a lot of paths before you, and you can choose anything you want to do, any direction you want to take. But know that it's going to require focus and discipline for you to succeed on that path, right? So I think a lot of doors are opening up for you. And there's also that realization that any of these doors are going to require a lot of work. Yeah, but it's the best kind of work, you know? I think you really, truly are getting everything that you wanted. This is turning out to really be one of my favorite readings, I've got to say. I want to look at the mystery card before it gets too late in the day. I was thinking swords, because we don't have any. And maybe that's what we need, is that sort of the structure, the communication. I think a Six of Swords would be perfect. It would satisfy our sort of need to have a map of sorts to follow, so that we don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel, you know. But then also the Six of Swords would show the kind of honest and open and very harmonious communication and interaction with things, with people especially, you know. That's what I'm voting for. Let's see what we get. 3. A 3 of Wands is kind of also about you kind of choosing a particular direction. The 3 of Wands is all about your identity. And it really is about that will, right? It's an Ace of Wands that's split up into 3 so we can analyze it. It's your will, your impulse, that fiery creative inspiration. And then you check in with your heart and your mind. How do I feel about this? What do I think about this? And that leads us to a decision. So I feel like this is you focusing on your next big project, your next phase of your life, right? And coming to that decision that says, yep, this is the one, right? You feel the impulse, and then you check in with your heart and your mind. How do I feel? What do I think? All right, let's do it. Okay? And I feel like this is really you kind of going on the next sort of phase. Because again, we've got the Tower event, we've got that big breakthrough, the big leveling up, and then it's going to be kind of smooth sailing of sorts, right? It's going to be kind of slow progress from there until we get the next Tower moment, which could come tomorrow, it could come next year, right? But this is us kind of getting a good idea what the next path, the next decision, the next move is for you. Yeah. I think this is a wonderful confirmation. It keeps the energy moving forward, keeps us on the path. Yeah, very nice. We're going to do an extended reading too. If you want to stick around, there is a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Virgo Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.